Great shot there of 10 of the fastest women in triathlon. And there's hardly anything between them. At the moment, it's 0.3 of a second. The 1K shootout to decide who is going to be the champion.
Sophie Coldwell has just run past Beth Potter.
There you go.
Magnificent as she's running.
50 metres to go, and Sophie Coldwell is going to steal it. 29 points to 28. Sophie Coldwell is your champion.
Well done, Sophie.
She has dug deep, and she has won it.
So in a week, I probably train about 25 hours a week, split up into roughly 12 hours of riding, 5-6 hours of running, and similar in the pool as well. And then there's obviously a couple of hours of gym, drills, S&C work as well. So that for us is a pretty standard week. And then we do that for 3 weeks, and then we have kind of like 2 or 3 days which are nice and chill to recover for another 3-week training block. A tough run session for me is probably what we're about to do today. Yeah, for me, we're doing a build tempo today, so we'll start kind of like 3:55 4-minute Ks and drop down to 3:25 Ks. So that for me is a tough workout, and because there's no recovery, it's just straight through. I find that like the most challenging. I'd much rather have, you know, recovery and static recovery in between. So yeah, today will be a tough one. So for us, a warm-up's normally about 15 minutes, some drills, and then we'll do a couple of just short hill sprints just to kind of get the legs turning over and get mechanics working, really. Cool down is an absolute shuffle, and if I get over 10 minutes, that's a record. So yeah, 10 to 15 minutes, just flush those legs out and get ready for the work this afternoon. So for the Super League, when we race kind of like over the mile, we're probably down at like 3:15 per K. And then when we're racing over the Olympic, it's probably more like 3:30 a K, so a bit different. Although when I'm racing on the curved treadmill for the Arena Games, I have no idea what's going to happen. So for me, like I've actually kind of taken a step back with training this year. It sounds a bit weird really, but I kind of wanted to run, and everyone thinks like run more, you'll run better. And I definitely took that approach a couple of years back, and this year I've definitely decided that knocking a bit of volume off has actually done me the world of good, because I've been a bit more consistent with my running, and consistency is key really. You know, you hear people say that all the time, and being consistent has actually made me run PBs that I've done through lockdown. So yeah, for me, I've taken a bit of volume off but actually ran that volume that I have been running consistently without little niggles appearing. So nutrition obviously is a massive part of any athlete, but for me, I don't tend to get so het up on the specifics exactly. Like I know breakfast needs to be, you know, like quite a carby meal, like it's obviously fueling me for the rest of the day, normally fueling me after a big swim. I know where the protein needs to go, I know where the recovery shakes need to go, but I don't weigh food, I don't count calories, I just kind of, am I fueled for the session? Am I recovering well for the session? Am I consistently training? Am I getting niggled? Am I getting ill? If the answer to those are what they need to be, I'll just keep going. I suppose when you start traveling, that's when you have to start thinking a bit more about exactly what you're taking with you, what are you going to have when you're away, like that kind of thing. But yeah, me and Tom have definitely got a good relationship with food, and both try and help each other where we can, in terms of someone's got a late session in the day, the other person will cook dinner. Like I said, Tom will make me breakfast. As soon as I'm back in from swimming, it's on the table. So things like that are where we probably make the small wins with that recovery window if something's in straight away.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom Evans. I'm Sophie Coldwell's fiance, chef, occasional training partner, and also full-time ultra endurance athlete.
You know, obviously Tom does a lot of running, and it's a lot quicker than what I run, but we do run together like once or twice a week. Like Tom's easy peasy, really easy runs, like he'll come with me. And even then I'm still like, if you want to run off and leave me, that's fine. But he doesn't. And then we do, our Thursday's our mountain bike day. It's quite nice. That's kind of like Tom's more chilled day running, and my day on the bike where you just go and enjoy riding for an hour and a half or whatever. So yeah, our lockdown presents to ourselves last year were 2 mountain bikes, and we do enjoy on a Thursday going out and trying not to fall off.
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah. So for me at the moment, I'm kind of riding about 12 hours a week, split into a bike session on Monday, a long ride Wednesday and Saturday, and then a couple of easy spins or mountain bikes in between. when we're out on the roads, we tend to train to power most of the time. Some rides are, prescribed, like when we do a session, right, you're gonna hit this power for this amount of time. And then some rides are purely like a long ride. As long as you're roughly in a ballpark of, 160 watts or whatever, like if you're feeling good and it's 170, wow, if it's not and it's 150, then that's fine as well. So for a Super League race, I think you're probably going to be looking towards like 280, 290 watts for the bike section. I mean, when we were doing some stuff on the turbo and the Zwift races, like they were kind of up towards like 270 for sort of like more 30 minutes worth of work. So for the Super League, where it's going to be a shorter bike section per like mini race, probably going to be looking more towards that. I think a lot of it is feel, and I know that's kind of like not very helpful, but I know, like, if I go super hard on that bike and go something that I'm really not very comfortable with, I'm obviously not going to be able to run very well off that. But you've also got to remember that you might lose 5 or 10 seconds on the run by going a bit above and beyond on the bike. But if you don't do that, you might end up losing 30 seconds on the bike. So it's really difficult to kind of judge, like, if you go a bit more than you want to, but actually you come off with everyone onto the run, like, are you actually going to be in a better off position than if you'd held back, got dropped, but then you run 15 seconds quicker? It's really difficult to know, and I think a lot of that is definitely just going to be that in-race decision making and just hope that you make the right decision. Yeah, so swimming for me started when I was a tiny little baby, and my mum would take me down swimming from 6 weeks old. I imagine I was being thrown into the swimming pool. But from that, just kind of did swim lessons and just loved being in the water. But when I was younger, I definitely wasn't known for being a strong swimmer. I only joined a swim club at about the age of 10. And from that, just kind of developed swimming. And I think I was lucky. I've got a pretty good stroke. And once you've got a good stroke, like, the fitness can kind of come with that. So yeah, you could be an amazing swimmer if you could swim 15 hours a week, but we don't have the time to do that. So it's how can we get the most out of 4 or 5 sessions a week? So I kind of feel like we found that sweet spot now, and yeah, just hopefully can retain my blue jersey moving forward. I do enjoy the swim training. I don't enjoy the early alarm. I'm not an early bird. So if swimming could be at like 8:30 every day, that'd be amazing. But yeah, when swimming's like back at 6 a.m. and the alarm's going off at 5:15, like, that's a bit of a bummer. But I do enjoy swimming. I think for me, it's the one thing that when I'm doing it well, like, I kind of feel like it's effortless. And Tom talks about it when he's running. He's like, oh, it just feels so easy, and I feel so light, and I feel like it feels easy to run. And I'm like, I've never had that feeling running, but I can relate to that swimming, and it's kind of like the only thing that I can relate to of when you're feeling good, it just feels so easy, and that's the only sport I feel like that in. So when it's like that, it's amazing, but when you're having a mare, it's not very nice. SLT didn't get described as the Hunger Games of triathlon for no reason. Like, it is savage, and it's like a love-hate thing, really. Like, how horrendous it's going to feel, but on the other side, you're like, I just can't wait to do it. So yeah, I mean, the back-to-back racing is hard. Like, the change of the order's difficult because you get so set in swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run. As soon as you start changing that, like, I remember when we raced in Jersey and Jodie was on my feet, we dived in and I could not swim, and we got out and she was like, what were you doing? And it was just that change of the order just really threw me. So there's so much to think about. There's so much physically that's demanding about it, but it's great fun, and yeah, looking forward to getting back in the game. And Super League obviously must be so exciting to watch because I love the crowds that turn out. Like, the enthusiasm is second to none, and yeah, I really hope we can get back to that. So for me, data is a big thing. I love numbers. I love looking at speeds and heart rates and things like that. So I look at it and kind of have a quick look on either Training Peaks or Strava. I do like to have a look at Strava, see if we've got any crowns. And then my coach also has a look. And so we, literally before I even got home, there was a quick text and a quick chat about how did you feel, look good, paces were on, like that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely have a good relationship with Adam and look at, paces and things like that. So in terms of the gym stuff, obviously you can do stuff with weights and then a lot of stuff that's body weight. And I'd kind of say that triathletes are split into two pots, really. You've kind of got triathletes that are developing that like top power stuff and kind of use the weights to do that. And then there's obviously the other triathletes that are kind of using the gym as more of like a motor control, movement patterns, injury prevention sort of thing, and I'd say I definitely fit more into this pot here. I definitely don't go in the gym kind of like big squats, deadlift, squat, like leg press, that kind of thing. Like I don't really do that, but I do use the gym much more for, yeah, getting things fired, glutes firing, movement patterns, and just trying to really prevent like lower leg injuries. But I definitely, previously I would definitely like kind of dabble in this pot for a bit of that like max power stuff, but for me, like I kind of have that top end power stuff, but the kind of overall conditioning and injury prevention is definitely where I kind of use my time more wisely rather than just kind of like smashing myself in the gym. So for me, between sessions and around training, I like to have things that are nothing to do with sport. I think I spend so much time and energy putting into triathlon, into training, that, you know, as soon as I come through that door and my bike's put away, my trainers are off, like for me then that is time with my other half, time with the dogs, doing stuff with the chickens. I'm a qualified nail technician, so I like to have other things that I can do outside of triathlon, because yeah, whether you've had a good session or a bad session, like the dogs don't know that, they just want to go out for a walk with you, like they're happy to see you, whatever. And for me, like I think it's great for like the mental side of things to be able to just switch off, and especially when things aren't going great, like whether you've got injuries or training's just not going very well, to have that release of, you know, they're not going to ask me how training's gone or whatever it is. And you know, when COVID pending, when I have people over to do nails, like you have a chat about other things and other people's lives, and it's so nice and refreshing to hear about other things that aren't to do with how was your run session, how was your bike session, oh did you swim this or whatever. It's nice to just switch off and something else. Take 1 of 5. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the cool videos they've got going on.
Nailed it. 5, 5, 6.
See ya. Drop the mic.